Well, what's up, good people? And welcome to Smiley G's Sports Nation. This is your boy Smiley G, the real Smiley G. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, lovely, lovely morning this morning. And today I'm going to talk about the two greatest heavyweights of all time. And I will be making my decision or basically giving my opinion on who I believe are the best between the two. But before I get into that, please like and subscribe to the video and hit the notification bell so you receive all future videos when they come out. And please, if you're feeling generous, donate to the channel to help the channel grow at via Cash App at Smiley G 2006 212212. And please comment in the comment section if you have any comments, because I want all the smoke. But I do plan to give my unbiased opinion. So with that being said, let's get into this thing. First we're going to talk about Joseph Louis Barrow. That's what's his full name, Joseph Louis Barrow. But he's known to everybody as Joe Louis. He was born May 13th, 1914. Now, he had a professional record of 66 wins and 3 losses, with 52 of his wins by knockout. He was 6'2" in height and had a 76-inch reach. Joe Louis had a professional amateur career where he won 3 amateur championships. One for the Golden Gloves of 1934 in Chicago at the light heavyweight division. And he won another Chicago Golden Gloves of 1934 at the light heavyweight division. And then he won a U.S. National Championships in 1934 in St. Louis for the light heavyweight division. Now, eventually, Joe Louis will become a heavyweight, where he started a professional record. And Joe Louis basically had an opening career where he started, I want to say, he won 27 straight wins before he went against the then heavyweight champion, who was James Cinderella Man Braddock. That's who the champ was at the time when Joe Louis was getting ready to face the champ. But before he went against to face the champ, Joe Louis had to go against an upcoming boxer named by the name of Max Schmeling. Joe Louis was 27-0. Schmeling had won his title on a technicality when a boxer named Jack Sharkey was disqualified after giving Schmeling a low blow in 1930. So Schmeling had won the title before. And this fight against Joe Louis was sparked up to be a pretty good match. Joe Louis was picked to win this fight. He was a new upcoming champ. He was 27, well, not the champ, but number 1 contender. He had a record of 27-0. He had a jab that he'd been using to beat majority of his fighters before Max Schmeling. But Max Schmeling exploited a flaw in Joe Louis' defense. Joe Louis had a habit of dropping his left hand at the jab, and Max Schmeling caught on to it. So every time that Joe Louis would do his left jab and drop it, Max Schmeling would counter. And as he started countering, he eventually caught Joe Louis and knocked him out in the 12th round at Yankee Stadium on June 19, 1936. Now, Max Schmeling expected a title shot against the champion, who was James J. Braddock, the Cinderella Man, who had unexpectedly defeated the champion before him, which was Max Baer. No one thought that James J. Braddock would have beat Max Baer, but he did. Now, Braddock's manager, Joe Gold, had been planning a Braddock-Lewis matchup for months. And Schmeling, I'm going to read an article because this is the reason why Max Schmeling didn't go against J. Braddock, but Joe Louis instead, even though Joe Louis had lost to Max Schmeling. But this is what it says. Schmeling's victory gave Gold, and James Gold was Braddock's manager. Schmeling's victory gave Gold tremendous leverage. However, if he were to offer Schmeling the title chance instead of Louis, there was a very real possibility that the Nazi authorities would never allow Louis a shot at the title. And Gold's demands were therefore onerous. Jacobs would have to pay 10% of all future boxing promotion profits, including any future profits from Louis' future bout, for 10 years. Braddock and Gold would eventually receive more than $150,000 from this arrangement, well before the actual fight. And Jacobs and Gold publicly announced that their fighters will fight for a heavyweight title on June 22nd, 1937. So basically, Max Schmeling was a German, and he fought for Germany. And basically, Joe Louis had been talking about a fight against James J. Braddock anyway, because, like I said, nobody thought Joe Louis was going to lose to Max Schmeling, but he ended up losing. So, basically, they was afraid that Joe Louis wouldn't get a title, and James J. Braddock wanted to keep that arrangement going, so they agreed to give Joe Louis the title shot regardless of him losing. So, Joe Louis had to pay 10% of all his money in bouts and all future bouts for the rest of his life to James J. Braddock to get the title shot. But he knew he didn't do it, he wasn't going to get the title shot ever, because, like I said, if Max Schmeling would have got a title shot and Max Schmeling won, Joe Louis would have never got a title shot. This is during a time where white people didn't give black people title shots that fast. So, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling fought. And James J. Braddock knocked Joe Louis down in round one. Which is unexpectedly. He knocked Joe Louis down in round one. But after that knockdown, Joe Louis basically controlled the whole fight until the 8th round, where he knocked James J. Braddock out cold with a strong right hand that busted James' teeth through his gum shield and leapt and sent him to the ground for a few minutes. It was the first and only time that James Braddock was knocked out. So Joe Louis had won the title. And Joe Louis held the title for 12 years, defended it 25 times with both our records. The record for he held a championship belt for the longest than any other boxer in NBA history. In boxing history, as well as defending the title 25 times, which also was a record. And after those years, he had retired. He was called in the military as well. So he was basically in the military while he was the champion. And he retired in 1949 after holding the title for 12 years and defending it 25 times. He decided to come back, but he ended up losing against Ezzard Charles, who was a great champion. And then he also lost to Rocky Marciano, who was a famous champion, who eventually ended up having a 49-0 record, which is the best record statistically wise in boxing history because he's the only heavyweight to be undefeated. Now, Joe Louis had went through a thing that people used to call the Bum of the Month Club, where he used to fight bums. And that's what they called everybody. He went against bums. And he went against a whole bunch of those. But one particular fight he had went against during his championship reign was a boxer named Billy Conn. Now, Billy Conn was a great light heavyweight champion and gave Joe Louis problems and was winning the fight until Billy Conn got cocky and Joe Louis knocked him out in the 13th round. So, after all that, people that say that Joe Louis is the greatest boxer because he defended the title 25 times, as well as holding the title longer than anybody in boxing history, which is 12 years. So that's the case for Joe Louis. Now let's get into our next contestant, who is Cassius Marcellus Clay, a.k.a. Muhammad Ali. Now, Muhammad Ali was born January 17th, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky. Muhammad Ali had 105 amateur fights. And he won 100 of those 105 amateur fights. And he went pro and went 22-0 before fighting the champion in 1964 by the name of Charles Sonny Liston. Now, Charles Sonny Liston was a scary boxer. Everybody was afraid of him. And nobody picked Cassius Clay to beat Sonny Liston. Cassius Clay had a particular style where he used to dance around the ring and attack his fighters as well as tire them out by sticking and moving, using his agility so that his opponents couldn't hit him like they want. They tired him out because they used to miss a lot of shots, and then once they get tired, he will capitalize on that by knocking them out. That was Cassius Clay's style. So Cassius Clay eventually won the title. He was undefeated when he fought the champion and beat the champion, causing him to quit the fight in the beginning of the 7th round. Cassius Clay became the heavyweight champion of the world at 22 years old. He defended his title 7 times before he was called to the military in the Vietnam War. He refused to go to the military, so he was stripped of his title because he was sentenced to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. So he managed to stay out of the business for 3.5 years before he was able to come back and get some license back after the Supreme Court of the United States of America had overturned the conviction, setting him free. When he came back, he was a little rusty. He didn't have the same skills. He had lost his speed, lost his agility, lost his footwork. It wasn't quite the same boxer. So he had lost his first fight of his career to the then champion Joe Frazier, Smoking Joe Frazier. And also lost to Ken Norton, who had broke his jaw in the second round of the fight. So he had lost 2 fights. So Muhammad Ali had to go back to the drawing board and find out a new strategy because he couldn't dance like he used to for the same length. Because he was getting older as well, he had lost some skills for the rush of not boxing for 3.5 years. But he eventually got back on track. He had avenged his loss against Ken Norton as well as his loss against Joe Frazier, and fought the champion who had both beat Ken Norton and Joe Frazier in 2 rounds. George Foreman was, I want to say he was 40-0 when he fought Muhammad Ali. And George Foreman was just like Charles Sonny Liston, probably worse because he hit harder than Sonny Liston. And he had to beat champions in 2 rounds. Like I said, Joe Frazier, the first person Joe Frazier lost to was George Foreman. And he beat him in 2 rounds, knocked him down 6 times in 2 rounds, which was crazy. Never been heard of. And then knocked Ken Norton 3 times or 2 times in the second round, knocked him out. George Foreman was dangerous. And he also beat a fighter by the name of, I can't quite remember his name, but he beat somebody else in between that. But Muhammad Ali, a lot of people had Muhammad Ali losing. Nobody thought he was going to beat George Foreman. But Muhammad Ali shocked the world, knocking him out in the 8th round and becoming the world heavyweight title, being the second person after Floyd Patterson to do that at the time. He defended his title, according to him, beating Joe Frazier again as well, beating a controversial loss. Well, beating Ken Norton for the 3rd time, which was a controversial win. A lot of people thought Ken Norton had won that fight, which I probably think he probably won as well, but I think it was too close to really make that judgment. It's a controversial loss. Win, I mean. It was a controversial win. I can agree to that. But Muhammad Ali officially lost to a boxer named Leon Spinks in 1978. It was a very big upset because nobody had Leon Spinks beating Ali. But Ali got a rematch and re-challenged Leon Spinks and managed to beat him in the rematch. Made Muhammad Ali the first person to win the heavyweight title 3 straight times, 3 different times, 3 different occasions. So, after that, Muhammad Ali retired. But he should have stayed retired, but he decided not to stay retired because he was already developing a condition known as Parkinson's disease. And he was, at the time, age 38 in 1980s. But he decided to fight the then current champion, Larry Holmes, a person who had trained under Muhammad Ali. And Larry Holmes basically demolished Muhammad Ali. You know, Muhammad Ali did a lot of talking. He said, you can't beat me. I'm your master. You can't beat me. So Larry Holmes had to prove that he can beat Muhammad Ali, because a lot of people didn't have Larry Holmes the clear champion because he didn't beat Muhammad Ali. But he beat Muhammad Ali. That would make him the clear champion. And then Muhammad Ali again lost to a new upcoming boxer named Trevor Berbick. So they would make Muhammad Ali's fifth loss. So his professional record will be 56-5. Losing to 5 people: Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Leon Spinks, Larry Holmes, and Trevor Berbick. Now, who I think are the best between these two gentlemen? Who I think is the best? Well, I think Joe Louis had more power than Muhammad Ali, even though he was smaller. I think Joe Louis was around maybe 100 and maybe 98 pounds, somewhere around the 200 range, where Muhammad Ali was around the 210 range. But I think Ali was faster than Joe Louis. He was bigger than Joe Louis, which played a part in it. And to me, those two things alone would make Muhammad Ali win if they fought head to head, as well as he had a reach over Joe Louis. I want to say Muhammad Ali had a 80-inch reach, whereas Joe Louis only had a 76-inch reach. So if they fought each other, in my honest opinion, I think Ali will win. It's just my honest opinion. But both are great boxers. I like both of them. I think Muhammad Ali I love a little bit more because I think that Muhammad Ali, to me, was the most entertaining boxer of all time. And I don't even think no one is probably closest up to maybe Mike Tyson. But Muhammad Ali is my favorite heavyweight of all time. He's probably my favorite boxer of all time, to be exact. But I just think he just was too big, too fast for Joe Louis to win. But I want to get y'all a special treat. I want to read a poem that Ali had said too. He used this both on Sonny Liston as well as Joe Frazier. And I'm going to try to imitate him. And he goes a little something. I like this. Clee comes out to meet Liston, and Liston starts to retreat. If Liston goes back an inch farther, he end up in a ringside seat. Clay swing with his left, Clay swing with his right. Look at young classes carrying a fight. Liston keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's only a matter of time until Clay lowers the boom. Now Clay lands with a right. What a beautiful swing, and the punt raises Bear clean out of the ring. Liston is still rising, and the ref wears a frown, for he can't start counting till Sonny goes down. Now Liston is disappearing from view. The crowd is getting frantic, but radar stations don't pick them up. He's somewhere over the Atlantic. Now who ever thought when it came to the fight that they be witness to the launching of a Herman satellite. Yes, the crowd did not dream when they put up the money that they will see a total eclipse of the sunny. But that's all I got for y'all. Just hit the like and subscribe. If you comment if you want. But I'll say peace to you, brothers and sisters.